Welcome to the Living Consciously television show, coming to you live from our Denver, Colorado Internet TV studios, also streaming on YouTube Live, as well as Hangouts and at ConsciousEvolutionMedia.com. I'm your host and moderator, Coach Steve Toth, and our theme today is how to reach higher level of consciousness. And I am very happy to introduce our guest for this evening. Her name is Lisa Dwoskin. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. And where are you joining us from?
From South Florida, sunny South Florida.
Wonderful.
Florida. Awesome. And let's continue with introducing our guest. So right next to Lisa is Linda Dyer. She's joining us from this beautiful place where the kangaroos are roaming around every single day, 24/7. Welcome to the show, Linda.
I don't know if they're roaming around today. It's too hot. They'd be under a tree somewhere if they got any sense. So thank you very much. Lovely to be here.
Do they ever sleep?
Oh yeah, on their tails.
Yeah. Okay. So next to Linda is Nina de Verderosa. She is joining us from the city where the lights never go out, and I'm sure everybody knows that we did Las Vegas. Welcome to the show, Nina.
Thank you very much. It's good to be with you, and it's good to have you here, Lisa. I know we've been waiting for you, but it was worth waiting for.
Thank you.
Awesome. And last but not least, Dori Kasicki, and he's joining us from the Big Apple, where you can't drink a big gulp. Welcome to the show.
Hey everybody. Hi Lisa. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
All right. So we got this fantastic theme, which is how to reach higher level of consciousness. I'm still working on just reaching consciousness. I don't know about you, but how do we tell that we are at a higher level of consciousness, Lisa?
Well, I think when our lives become more peaceful and we love ourselves more and we're in a happier place, I think we know that we're reaching a higher level of consciousness. And what I also was hoping we would talk about is meditating is how we can reach our higher level of consciousness. When you can go into a meditative state and stay there and quiet your mind, I think that's when you know you've reached it.
I want to ask you something about meditation, that when you first go into meditation, and it's like you try to make your mind a blank, is that the way you do it? Because I don't think a lot of people know how you kind of get into it.
Well, it takes time for you to get your mind blank for even probably 10 seconds or 30 seconds. What I tell my clients that I train and everybody I speak to about my book, and because we go over meditation quite extensively in the book, is just to Google a guided meditation or listen to it on your iPad or your iPhone or your computer, and you put your headsets on and you just listen for about 10 minutes every day or every other day. I recommend people to be consistent with their practice, and after about 10 minutes every day, it takes about 30 days to maybe 90 days to get used to it, to be able to quiet your mind. But what you do is you listen to somebody walking you through, telling you to breathe, relax your shoulders, or you're listening to a waterfall or the ocean, and every time you hear something pop up in your mind or something negative or a thought, you just go back to listening to what the guided meditation teaches you to do, and that'll help you to silence your mind. It takes time and practice, of course.
Lisa, hang on for a second. So I don't know about that, but all I know is my own personal reference, and I could be you know, maybe a slow learner, but I worked most of my life to quiet my mind, and I just recently accomplished it 2 years ago. So I worked on it for like 30 years.
And would you do it every single day consistently and make it like a spiritual practice, or did you do it sporadically?
Yes, I come from a personal junkie state of mind.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I meditated everywhere I've gone, and all the courses I've done, and all the things I've done. Yeah, everywhere.
So do you think, Steve, do you think that you were meditating in the wrong way, that it took you that long to actually get to where you wanted to get to 2 years ago?
I don't know if there's a right way or there is a wrong way to do it. All I know, matter of fact, I know that there is no wrong or right way. All I know is that for me, because I've listened to a lot of people and a lot of my coaches telling me to quiet my mind, but that's easier said than done for me. I mean, I don't know about anybody else. I mean, let's share with the viewers. Tell me how many of you are able to quiet your mind for a consistent period of time. Consistent meaning more than 10 minutes.
I'm gonna jump in here because I just made an analogy the other day. I had in front of me my favorite meal just got delivered, and as I opened up the bag, I was thinking about how hungry I was, and I was so concentrated on what I was about to eat that I literally felt like I was in a meditated state of bliss, waiting and anticipating to eat. I'm serious. Shrimp Parmesan and spaghetti. And literally for 3 or 4 minutes, I was in a meditative state of mind. Now, it sounds like I'm making light of this, but I meditate on a regular basis, and that was probably the most intense meditative state I've been in a long time.
But did it taste good? I hope it tasted good after
I can still taste it when I think about it now. And I'm going to order another. I might go get some after the show.
And see, exactly that was a meditative state. So you don't really have to be sitting in a cross-seated position saying Om or anything like that.
Yes.
You could just meditate even by taking 3 deep breaths and quieting your mind for 5 seconds. 30 seconds a minute, that's meditating right there. So maybe we all try to put too much emphasis on staying in a meditative, still state for a long period of time. I don't think it has to be that long of a period. That sounded like a great meditation you had.
Well, maybe that's Lisa, because we have tons of experts out there and they're all telling us to do it in a certain way, and there's always the right way to do it, and I don't think there is a right way.
No,
there is
me
just
neither.
There's just a way to do it. However it is that you get to it, each individual gets to it is the perfect way.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with that. I actually do that myself. I actually I don't take a lunch break, but I go to have something around about lunchtime, and then I go out to my garden and with a swimming pool, and I literally sit there and I just enjoy that moment, which is probably about 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And I just sort of look around, and I didn't realize that this could actually be my meditation time. I never ever thought of that. I just thought of it as having a very relaxed, beautiful time. And then I'll come back in, and I must admit, I really felt good after. I really felt, well, now I haven't been rushing to work all the time, because we do get into this thing of, I got to work, I can't take time, I got to bring my food to my computer and eat it while I'm on the computer. And I think that's wrong. So I think now I know that I've been meditating. How cool is that?
Exactly.
Wow.
And for me, I think it's when I'm walking in the mornings. That is an absolute habit. I get up every morning, take my minerals, I'm out the door. And I walk to the beach. So for me, just staring at the water, and the sunrises we've had recently have been spectacular. So just taking all that in and not thinking about anything else, for me, that's a combination of exercise and meditation. It's like when I come back here for breakfast, I enter a different world, because I've been in this wonderful place of nothingness but just me with nature. And to me, that's the best meditation.
I agree with all you guys. It's like every day I have a ritual of going to Starbucks, and I think about going to Starbucks before I go there. And for me, the 10, 15 minutes I have when I enjoy my iced coffee is a form of meditation. I don't think about anything else. I just shut my phone off, I sit back, I relax, and I contemplate. And it's as silly as it sounds, and these days it costs $5 to get a latte at Starbucks. It costs me $5 to meditate, but it's worth it.
But Steve, I think, Steve, you opened up a whole big thing here by saying there's no particular form of meditation. And that's what you said. And I think what we've all answered that question, because it seems like each one of us have gone into a different place for meditation, not really realizing it. We're just thinking it's just go and have a cup of coffee, or go and have lunch outside, or go for a walk by the beach. But it's really kind of a form of just getting out of our body and getting into the real life. And I think that's going to open it up for an awful lot of people out there if they're listening.
For sure.
I agree. I believe that in order for us to reach our higher level of consciousness, we need to be aware that we need to quiet our mind, like what you're saying, gardening, getting your coffee, being with nature. Nature is definitely a state of meditation. And if we could find different spurts of periods throughout the day that we could enjoy life without being on our electronics, being in the rat race, being on the phone, being surrounded by people, that is meditating, and that is what will take us to the higher level of consciousness of just being in the moment and just being, enjoying life in the moment.
Awesome. So this is reminding me to something that I'm also been experiencing, and I'm just curious if anybody else is experiencing this. Is right before I go to sleep, I'm having this experience of incredible. What words can I use to describe this feeling? It's a feeling of letting go. It's a feeling of I'm now horizontal. I feel my body is weightless, and I eventually, I'm loving that feeling, and eventually, I don't even know what happens, but everything disappears and I'm sleeping. But the actual route, the experience that I'm having is so calming, and it's almost like.
We lost you, Steve.
You lost me?
Oh, there you are.
Oh.
You're back again.
We heard level of calming. That was it.
I lose myself all the time. So it's almost like it's almost like going to sleep with the beautiful blue sky and hugging hugging the sky. That's what it feels like to me. It's like I feel completely weightless. I feel like I'm about to fly, and then the next thing I know, I don't know nothing.
You're asleep.
Yeah. That's it. So would that be a form of meditation as well? Do you think, or?
Oh, for sure, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm going to ask you another question, Lisa. The other night I was going to go out. I'm in Vegas, so everything starts very late here, and my function wasn't starting until 9 o'clock. And I'm slowly sort of, I'm really not used to going out at 9 o'clock, and maybe 8 o'clock or 7:30. But so this was a little, but it was okay. But I'm slowly getting ready, and I'm literally dragging myself. And then I suddenly sat down, and I thought to myself, do I really want to go to where I'm going? So I sort of calculated everything, and I thought, am I in a better state where I am now than going there? And I calculated the whole thing, and I didn't go because I felt more relaxed, and I felt so content after I had made my mind up of not going. But I had this little anxious thing of, should I go, shouldn't I go, And I just made up my mind that saying, no, I don't really want to go. And I just felt so good, and everything sort of worked out after that. So is that also a form of kind of meditation, like kind of relaxing your mind?
Well, I would definitely say that's listening to your intuition and your truth within your soul. And in order for us to reach that state, we need to be in touch with ourselves. And in order to be in touch with yourself, you meditate and you relax and you silence your mind, and you're more in tune to your inner feelings, and you listen to it, which is a beautiful thing. Too many of us go out of guilt, or we're afraid we're going to disappoint, and we're so worried about other people instead of focusing on what's best for us and our soul. And I believe that all comes from meditating and being in touch with ourselves and higher consciousness and awareness. So I think that's beautiful. I do the same.
I felt a little selfish about it because I felt I was letting, because there's people that I knew, obviously, and I felt that I was kind of probably letting them down. And then I thought, well, do I really have to worry about letting them down, or do I really have to worry about me? So which is the greater one of taking on? So I decided to take on me and not do it, because I calculated it didn't really matter if I went or I didn't go, and I just decided to do what I needed to know, not please somebody else.
Exactly. And for another show, we could talk about maybe you could have gone out and something could have happened, and your intuition and your soul told you not to go. That would be a good topic for another
That was
discussion.
exactly, well, I'm going to tell you the end of the story. I'm going to tell you what was in my mind as well. I had a funny feeling that something was going to happen to me in the car, my car I was driving. I just felt something was going to happen, and I didn't know what it was. And I decided that I'd rather not go. So I had all these things going on, but I did have an incident about my car.
See? And that's from being on a higher level of consciousness and listening to the universe and listening within yourself. That has to be our next talk for sure.
Wow, that is amazing.
So you were dialed in, Nina.
Yeah, I was.
That's what I call that. So hey, I'm really curious. I'm really curious about something in reference to Ninon and also Tori. Both of you are living in a place. I mean, New York City and Las Vegas, very different cities, but it's very busy. And from my own personal experiences, there is tons of negative energy at both places. How do you integrate consciousness into physical environments like Las Vegas and New York?
Do you want to go first, Tori?
That's a great question that I've been asking myself for 2 years now. So I'm living in New York for 2 years, and I've been a country boy my whole life. And when I had a need for finding myself, I would go to the beach or I would go to the forest. So here in New York City, there is no beach and there is no forest. and in the wintertime, it could be really cold, and desperate's the word that comes to me, you know. And I had to find a new way to find peace within myself. And what I do now is I go into sessions which would call prana breathing, and it's a more in-depth sense of meditation, where I don't have the ability to go into the forest or to the beach or go on a nature walk. So I go into a breathing ritual, and that's my way in a very hectic society. To make it really brief, anytime anybody gets stressed, no matter where you are, no matter what's going on, you could be in a subway station, just taking 20 deep, full breaths is a sense of deep meditation. If your only focus is on your breathing, and that's what I do now. I do it several times a day, and it fills my need.
Mine is probably a little different living in Vegas, but I'm definitely a city girl. I like to go to the country and I like to go to the seaside, but I like a city. I like activity. Not necessarily going to it all the time, but to know it's there, that I can go to it. But I have learned to choose where I want to go and where I don't want to go. And I usually go to places, being very selfish, to my advantage, because it's a waste of time doing it for somebody else's advantage. So, and I'm very happy. I can be a loner. I can be with people, or I can be alone. So I love my alone time an awful lot. But being a Gemini, I've got these two people going along here. So I've got the best of two worlds, and that's how I look at it. I'm not uncomfortable staying home and doing things and relaxing or whatever. I know I don't have to do these things, so I don't do them. And then when I'm out, I have a wonderful time, and I enjoy it very, very much. But I do choose where I want to go and what I want to do, and I've learned to do that. It took a little while, but I love people anyway, but I also love my quiet time, and I'm able to have that quiet time. I don't know how, but I manage it.
Yeah. So Lisa, would you say that that actually going inward and quieting our minds and starting these meditation practices, however they look like, however they feel like, is probably one of the most important things that humanity can do for themselves right now at the place and time that we're currently living?
Yes, definitely, for sure. And also, just to touch on what we were just talking about, for the people that live in the cold weather and it does get dark and dreary and cold, total opposite from what I'm going through here in Florida. I'm sorry, but what I recommend for everyone up north to do is, besides the meditating, is to feed themselves with positive energy. The minute they wake up, read positive affirmations, talk to themselves, read something on Facebook or in the newspaper that's positive, not negative, not most of the news stations, unfortunately. And then also 30 minutes a day to try to do some form of exercise to get the endorphin rush. If you can't go outdoors, join a gym and work out, or get a videotape in your house and do some sort of workout that'll make your soul, your mind, your body feel better. And then, like what you were saying, Steve, before you go to bed at night, think of something positive. Don't feed yourself with negative news and negative media and everything that's always constantly in our face that's negative. Feed yourself with something positive, whether it's writing in a journal or reading a book. And if you do all that, it would make your days a lot better during the winter and the cold climate when you're up north, I believe.
Well, I think, Lisa, that works for, that doesn't matter where you live, though. I think, like, I'm in the city of Sydney, which is just like San Francisco or any other city, so I love to be able to hop on a bus and I'm in the city in 20 minutes, or I walk to the beach and I'm in there 10. I chose not to live right on the beach. And so for me, I think whatever you're happy, whatever you're in love with, you will do it in a state of meditation, or you will do it in a state of that you're connected. And I can be on a really crowded bus coming home and be calm because I enjoy watching people. Or, you know, other people can be on a crowded bus and they're panicking or they're complaining. I think it's our meditative state, I think, is our own state of mind that we choose to be in under any circumstance. It doesn't really matter, you know, where you are. Just choose to be positive. Choose to feel great about who you are and what you're doing, and only do the things that you love.
For sure, definitely. Anywhere you could do it. And a couple of other recommendations is what you all were saying about breathing. If you don't have time to take 20 breaths, take 3 long, deep breaths, and just try to relax your mind, relax your body, relax your spirit, and just like what you were just saying, be positive wherever you are. You're right. And within, if you're positive within, is the most important thing to do besides meditating. Self-love. Are you kind and loving to yourself? Do you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you? Or do you hate yourself? That's of course we don't, because we're more spiritual and we're working on this. But there are people that are not kind and loving to themselves, and they're never going to be in a meditative state or a higher consciousness of awareness. So just being kind and loving and positive to yourself as well as others.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I
yield to the lady from England.
I wonder why. I was going to say, I just started recently, the last 6 months to a year, writing sonnets, and I found that, and I think what you're all saying is you can do anything at any time, at any place. It doesn't matter what it is you're doing late at night and why it is or how it is, you can do it at any time. But I started writing sonnets, and I actually do that mostly at night. And I put this beautiful soft music on, and it's amazing how the brain, and it's very, Ernest, I forgot his last name, but Ernest anyway, and this incredible piano player, and I love the music, and there's certain parts I love. And I find that it relaxes me, but I just find the words start flowing, and I don't really have to worry, and I'm just typing away and having a grand old time, and it's just, it can be 1 o'clock in the morning that I can do that. So I don't think there's a definite time or place to do anything. I don't think you have to write a book or write sonnets or anything at a certain time. I think you can do it at any time, or anything that you like at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I just want to make a suggestion. I begun a lot of corporate consulting in the last 6 months, and it continues on. I just got a new contract for a very large real estate office, like 1,200 people, and I keep hearing this, and this is something that I very strongly feel that needs to be shifted. The way we are perceiving time everybody keeps saying we don't have time. And what I am suggesting is that we have all the time in the world. There is no lack of time. There is no and I don't want to say there is no time, because people have a hard time with that one. So I'm not going to say that. But what I'm going to say is there is all the time that we all need to be and to do everything that we love and we are joyful about. There is no lack of any of it. So please, if people could shift and stop saying we don't have time, that is just so not accurate.
I think, Steve, you know, that came with that word like time management. They asked me to teach it when I was at uni, and I went, I don't believe time management. I think it's activity management.
I don't either.
If I only ever got 24 hours, nobody's
you can't manage. You can't even manage
24 hours. So
how can you manage something that doesn't even really exist? It's
exactly.
just a made-up thing.
But you can manage your activity within the 24 hours.
Yes.
So taking time, and if we need to eat and drink, act and think differently, what do you want to let go of so you can do those things within the 24 hours? I find gratitude prayers, for example, brilliant at night. The next thing I know, it's morning. You can be, you know, if people can't sleep or they don't know how to meditate properly, start being grateful for the little things that you do have in that time, and you'll just drift off. It's just the most beautiful thing to do. And we're being grateful now. You might say, oh, I need to get up and do work on the computer. Or not, because your immune system's now compromised. No, it's definitely activity.
I love what you just said, Linda, about be grateful for what you have. Don't think of the things you don't have. Be grateful for what you have, because we all have something different. We can never be alike each other. You know, brothers and sisters, we're not alike, and we're the closest of close. But be grateful for what you've been given and what you have, and relish on it and bound on it and enjoy it. It's wonderful.
And you know, if we're grateful for the moment of now, we won't ever worry about time, because we won't worry about the past or the future. We'll just live in the moment. And that's what people need to do also with being grateful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the whole thing around anxiety is it's about, to me, I was working with a client yesterday, and she said, oh, I'm so anxious about her mother's dying in Chile. And I said, so what's going on? And she said, oh, I'm so anxious. And I said, what are you anxious about? I said, do you realize that anxiety is simply the inability to see something successful in the future? So I said, your subconscious mind can create whatever picture you want. What does it look like for your mum to pass in a beautiful way and for you to leave Australia and be there with her? What does that look like for you? Visualize it. Close your eyes and just visualize it. And then write down all the things that you can do to make that happen. And she just left like she was flying. That's all anxiety is. It's about focusing on the future rather than focusing on now. We can trick our subconscious mind beautifully.
Exactly. So true.
Very well said.
All right, so I don't want to beat this horse to death, but I just want to go back to the abundance of time again, because I think, I don't know who said this, but we all have the same 24 hours, right? And it is made up. But we all have the same 24 hours, which is abundant, because as soon as the first 24 hours is over, the next 24 hours begins. And the only difference between these 24 hours is how I use it, how Linda uses it, how Nina uses it, how Tori uses it, how Lisa uses it. It's what we choose to be important to us. And for some reason, we all seem to have
Oh, it must be cold in Denver. He's frozen.
Yeah.
He keeps freezing up. Very well said, Linda. We lost you, Steve, but you'll be back in a second. But he's right. You know, 24 hours was just made. It was just made in 24 hours. Let me say, you have to get up at 9 o'clock and you have to go to bed at 10 o'clock. We can do anything we want with 24 hours. It's hours. I mean, everything is hours out there when you think about it. There you are, Steve. You're back again.
Okay.
Is he
I don't
back?
know what happened. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. I'm shifting in and out of higher levels of consciousness.
We heard about, we all have the 24 hours. It's a matter of what we do with it. I just did a seminar with about 15 women last week who are all fitness women who work out. It was at a yoga studio. And I asked them, do you make time to work out? And they all do. And then the next question was, do you make time to work on your mind and your spirit with spiritual workouts or meditation? And they all had an excuse for that because they're not willing and able yet to work on that. After the seminar, they were much more excited and they learned so much. And I believe it's just letting people be more aware of what they need to do and what they need to make priorities in their life within those 24 hours to make themselves better, healthier, and happier, to live longer, fulfilled lives.
Yeah, Lisa, I agree with you, because everything that we've been talking about the last couple of minutes is not only about time, it is about priorities. And when you prioritize the things that you do in the time that we have, I think we feel more accomplished, and then we feel like we've accomplished more in the same amount of time when the things that we do are more important than the less important things that a lot of us get caught in that trap of, well, let me do this, this, and this because it's easy, but it's not as valuable in our time than something that's maybe more difficult. Like you said in that example, not putting aside time to do spiritual work because it's more difficult, so it gets left out, you know. So I think there's definitely a comparable to time and quality of purpose of what we do in that time. That makes sense.
I agree.
Maybe it's because people don't see the results right away. It's because everything's quick now. You know, let's see results. And a lot of times when people think they've got to get into the spiritual place and meditate and do all these things, they don't really see it right away, but they don't realize that it is right away, and it has come to you right away. But a lot of people, I don't think, really quite understand that because it's not black and white.
That's how McDonald's became a multi-billion-dollar company.
We can't talk about McDonald's.
Guess what? They are losing huge market share right now.
Yeah.
They fired their CEO. They have a new CEO, and things are not going well. Which makes me very happy.
It's all about karma.
McDonald's is not doing well. Yay!
Yay!
McDonald's. Oh, we're all against them.
You know, the interesting part about what we're talking about, and we were talking about this before the show, Lisa, is about the male and the feminine parts of us. And to be balanced, we need both. So your fitness leaders was a brilliant example of putting out. All the people I deal with autoimmune diseases, they put out, they're workaholics, and they don't know when to stop and do what you're suggesting, which is the meditation, or taking that feminine part of them. It's that male archetype and that female archetype of receiving, that calmness of letting go of things we don't need and taking on board, just being grateful, as I said before. But it's really quite interesting that in that time that we have, what are we choosing? And I chose to work till 2 in the morning. I got lupus. Like, what are we doing? Also, the conscious mind doesn't build your cells. The subconscious mind, it's connected to the universe. It's the one that replenishes all the cells in your body. So working out at the gym and not taking time to meditate means that at one point you will have to stop because the body can't maintain that.
For sure.
And I learned the hard way. Yeah.
And so did I. And in my book, I talk about I've had heart surgery. I've had 2 other surgeries where my organs collapsed. I was working out, doing fitness competitions, and every time I would have stress in my life or get upset about something, I'd go running, I'd go spinning, I'd do some form of exercise. And once I became more spiritual and reached the higher level of consciousness and worked on my mind and spirit, it slowed down everything in my life. And it took me from an A-type personality who wanted to go, 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 and never relax, never meditate, never be in a peaceful state, to finally learn all this. And like Steve said, it for some people it takes time. For me, it took a good 6 months or more of doing it every single day and being consistent and being aware. And I had surgery, so I couldn't work out, so I was kind of stuck. But it definitely is a practice, and it definitely changes your entire life, your entire being, and it just puts you into such a different state of mind when you can slow down and live in the moment and enjoy your life.
What would be the greatest thing that you could give our audience who are out there that haven't really done any of this, and how would they start, and what would be the greatest thing that they could do?
Well, what I like to say, and again, I go over this in my book, they need to start journaling, writing down at night, like what you say you do, the sonnets, and write or read, or Steve, you like to relax. So people need to write a little bit about their feelings, their innermost feelings, because so many people they're not even aware of what is going wrong in their life or what the right path in life to take, because they don't even know themselves at all. So get in touch with your feelings by writing a little bit in a journal. And then, like what I said, the guided meditation. Hit any guided meditation on Google. There'll be thousands you could choose from. And just listen to the person talking about how you need to relax your shoulders. Take a couple of deep breaths. Or like what we were talking about, just breathe throughout the day. And go for a walk. Be around nature, like what we were talking about. If you're not near the ocean, go to the mountains. Look at a tree or the birds. Just start that way, and in time it'll get easier and easier, and then your spirit will be driving you towards it, and you'll be wanting to do it more and more because you'll be feeling so much better.
And I also learned, Lisa, that the first two things to relax are in fact the jaw and the stomach, because that's where we hold a lot of our stress and tension. And last night it was interesting because, not knowing what the title of this show was, I found myself, you know, when I went to bed, I could feel this tension here. And I just remembered, come on, you know, you teach this. So I taught it to myself, and I just relaxed my jaw. I don't think people realize how heavy their jaw is when they're holding on to stress or tension.
I agree.
Just let it go. And I was out in no time. Just let the stress go in the jaw, and especially in the tummy. It doesn't matter if it flips to one side or the other. Isn't that a terrible scenario? But however, just let it go. Just release any tension in those two areas, and you'll find it is such a big relief. And you have no idea how strong this is until you drop it.
I agree with you, because in the classes that I teach, which are boot camps and hardcore classes, I force my clients, which is usually anywhere from 20 to 30, 40 women in a class, I force them at the end, because they enjoy my class so much they'll do it, to lie down and do a 5-minute meditation. And after I tell them the obvious, relax your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your legs, your feet, then I'll tell them, now notice that you're clenching down on your teeth, your jaw is tight, your forehead, you're frowning, you're clenching your lips, or something like that. I agree with you. People don't even realize. They come up to me after class and say, wow, I didn't realize I hold so much tension in my face as well. So I agree with you on that.
Awesome.
It's funny, none of us have tension. But none of us have tension in our faces at the moment because we're all preoccupied. So there's a good example.
Yeah.
We're not thinking. We're out there. We're preoccupied with something else. We're doing what we're doing right now, and none of us have that tension. I guarantee that.
No, right.
Yeah. So there it is. Keep your mind active. Oh, Tara, what are you thinking, Tori?
I'm thinking I'm feeling tense whether I'm tense right now.
You don't. You're tense trying to get whether you are or not.
I'm a little bit stressed whether or not I'm stressed. I can't tell.
I think we're all in a higher level of awareness and consciousness. And the funny thing is, another thing I'd like to tell to our viewers, when you think you reach the state of a higher level of consciousness or spiritual enlightenment, think again, because you're never really there. It's a continuous growth, a continuous process, continuous education and knowledge, and you just got to keep going with it, and it just keeps getting better and better.
I like that. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like the world, it's a continuation. It's round.
Now I'm
Never
really.
stops.
Now, did I make you more tense?
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Get hold of your doggy. Candy. What was the dog's name? Candy.
Cookie.
Cookie.
The cookie.
Something. There you go. Cookie.
All right, guys. Well, I hate to do this, but I must because I have another appointment to go to. So this was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, Lisa, for shedding the light on higher levels of consciousness and also on meditation. I think we all had some fantastic things to share with our viewers, and I just want to make sure that our viewers know if we touched a move that inspired you during the show or any of the shows that we are doing every evening on this network. Keep coming back to ConsciousEvolutionMedia.com. Keep watching the shows on our YouTube channel, and hopefully the shows that you like the most are getting up on the top 10 list and every month, and then we have the possibility of taking it to public television. So thank you so much, Lisa. You were fantastic. The cast was absolutely fantastic. Thank you for being so engaged, and have a wonderful evening. And there's all the time there is, which is abundant.
Thank you, and a very cute dog. Thank you all so
Have a
much.
happy birthday, Steve.
Happy
Thank you
birthday.
so
Bye,
much.
Lisa. Bye.
Tomorrow I'll be 29.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
See you
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye.